Hey guys, welcome back to another video. For today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys the story of how I managed to buy 3 separate 3000 series graphics cards, and I'll have some Spike Rush gameplay in the background. Before getting started, I'd like to just state that I don't condone scalping or botting of any kind. And with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more videos. I think this will be a good story to tell just because I know that not a lot of people have been able to get their hands on just one 3000 series card, and I've been able to buy 3. Even some of my friends that have been able to buy one haven't been able to buy more than just one because of restrictions that are in place to stop them. So I feel like I got really lucky and I was able to get 3 of them. I know that sounds bad, like I'm trying to scalp them, but I'm not. I just kind of fell into situations where I got offered the chance to buy them and I just took those chances. The first card that I did end up buying was the RTX 3080. Back in July of 2020, I started getting really interested into computers and started researching all the parts that I would need to build one. One of the most important parts was the GPU, and I had decided that I wanted to buy the 2070 Super because it was around $500, and for me at that time, that seemed like a really good price. Luckily, when I did decide to go buy the 2070 Super, the deal for it kind of fell through and I ended up not getting it, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise for me because not even a month later, they had announced the 3000 series graphics cards. And once I saw what the 3080 was going to be and all the performance it was going to have, I knew that that's the card that I wanted to buy for my computer. Fast forward to September 15th, 2 days before the 3080 was supposed to come out. I went to Micro Center to buy all the computer parts that I needed to build the computer, minus the GPU, obviously, because this still hadn't came out. When I was checking out, the cashier asked me like, hey, why aren't you getting a graphics card? I told him that I was waiting for the 3080 to come out so that I could just put that card into my system. And then he kind of looked at me kind of funny and was like, hey, I hope you know this, but those cards are going to be really limited and you're probably not going to be able to buy one. Him saying that kind of made me question whether or not I should go ahead and even build a computer at that time, but I decided that I would just try my luck and camp out outside of Micro Center that night to see if I could be one of the first people in line to buy one. At first, I thought about heading out at 5 a.m. to camp out. I thought that would be a good time considering the fact that Micro Center opens up at 10 a.m. but something told me to head out a bit earlier, so I headed out at midnight with my sister. And when we got there, I thought I was going to be one of the first people in line, but nope, there was already a line of almost 30 people. Having been told by the employee that they would only have about 10 cards in stock kind of discouraged me from wanting to stay in line, but my sister that was with me told me that we were already there, so we might as well just wait and see what happens. While waiting in line, I started talking to other people that were waiting, and some of them told me that they had heard that there was going to be 10 cards. Other people told me that they heard that there was going to be less than 5 cards in stock. Other people said that they had heard that there was going to be 20. So no one quite knew how many cards there was going to be, but everyone was hoping that at least they would be able to buy one. Fast forward to around 8 a.m. and a supervisor or manager from Micro Center comes out and starts counting all the people that are in line. He counts up to the 35th person and tells everyone else that, hey, we only have 35 cards in stock. If you guys want to stay, you guys can stay, but there's no guarantee that we'll get another shipment of them today. Finding out that I was going to be able to buy a card made me feel so relieved because I had spent 8 hours already in line, and to find out that I wasn't going to be able to buy one was going to be really disappointing. An hour later, they started processing the people that were going to get a card. I'm guessing that the first 10 people in line probably got to choose what card they wanted. But since I was 26th in line, I was just handed a voucher and told that this was the card that was available. So this is the card that you're going to get. I ended up getting an EVGA XC3 Ultra Black card, which I was happy with because at the end of the day, it was a 3080. That wraps up how I got a 3080. At the time, I didn't know how lucky I was to have gotten a 3080 because I had heard afterwards that other Micro Centers had received a lot less stock than what my Micro Center ended up getting, so I felt lucky for that. And on top of that, online, all these scalpers and bots ended up buying up all the stock and making the cards sell out basically instantly. Hearing that I was able to camp out and get a 3080, my friends decided that they wanted to try and get a 3070. Both my friends are bums and don't have a car, so they asked me if I could give them a ride. I agreed to take them, and we decided that we were going to head out around 10 p.m. the night before the cards release so that we can get a good position in line. Me and my friend D decided that we should get lawn chairs so that we can sit while we wait, because the first time I went, I just sat on the ground and that was unpleasant. So we went to the store to buy everything that we needed for the night before and be prepared this time. After buying all the supplies, me and D decided to go scope out Micro Center and see if there was any people already in line. Keep in mind, it was still like a whole day before the cards were released, and it was around 3 p.m. and there was already people in line. So when me and D saw that, we decided that, hey, we should like line up right now. We called our friend Santos to let him know that it was time to start lining up because there was already people there. When Santos showed up, there was still 18 hours left until Micro Center opened, so there was still a long time for us to wait. We were supposed to bring power banks, food, snacks, and our Nintendo Switches to play games with each other, but none of that happened because we ended up lining up so abruptly. Luckily, there was a Jewel close by and we were able to get food from there. And also, you know, we were right outside of Micro Center and it was still open, so if we needed power banks or chargers or whatever, we could just go in there or just charge up in the car. Me and D were fifth in line and we both knew that he was guaranteed to get a card no matter what. But I started thinking that maybe I should buy a card as well because, like I said, we were going to spend 18 hours there. And although it's fun to hang out with my buddies and all that, but like I said, I was going to be waiting for 18 hours. So I was like, fuck it. You know what? I should just buy or see if I could buy a card and sell it on eBay and see if I can make a quick buck. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get a card in the first place because I had already bought in a 3080, and from what I had heard, if you already had a 3000 series card, Micro Center wouldn't sell you another card. So I decided to just go inside the store and ask a manager or an employee whether or not it would be okay for me to buy a 3070, which I think wasn't the best idea because when I did go inside and find a manager and told him like, hey, I bought a 3080, I'm trying to buy a 3070, is that okay? He kind of looked at me funny and was like, why do you want a 3070? And I was like, oh shit, I don't want to tell him I want to make money off of it or whatever, or try to sell it online. But I was just like, you know, I just told him like, just wondering. And then he was like, yeah, I don't think there should be a problem, especially since it was last month. But he also suggested that I didn't buy the 3070 because he said if I already have a 3080, then just let someone else that doesn't have one of any card buy one. And maybe if I wasn't waiting 18 hours in line, I would have listened to him. But since I was like, you know what? Nope, I'm still going to try to buy one. Fast forward to the morning, the same thing that they did when I bought the 3080 happened again. They counted everyone in line. They told the people that were going to be able to buy one that they were going to be able to buy one and everyone else to go home. I don't know why, but it seemed a lot less organized this time when they did hand out the vouchers though, because instead of it saying what card you were gonna get, it just said that you were able to buy a 3070. So that kind of led to confusion when you got inside because you didn't really know what they did have and what they didn't have left. But I just ended up getting NVIDIA RTX 3070 Founders Edition, which I think was a pretty good card to get. And when I went to the register, there was no problems with me checking out, and that's how I was able to buy my second 3000 series graphics card. For the 3090, the story is a little bit shorter. Me and D wanted to buy a computer for our friend Brian because we had a whole bunch of computer parts that we didn't use anymore and thought that we could kind of Frankenstein him a computer that he could use. The only thing we didn't have was a graphics card, and at the time finding any graphics card was like really hard. So we were thinking maybe we should just get him like 1060 Ti or something that's not that expensive, but you know, that would be good enough for him to play games with us. D originally found an AMD Radeon RX 5700, but when we set up Brian's computer for 144 hertz, it started flickering and glitching out, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, how can a brand new graphics card not handle at least 144 hertz, especially one that has like such a good reputation? The flickering probably happened because of something me and D didn't do or did do, but when it came to an NVIDIA card, none of that had ever happened when setting up a card. So we figured that maybe we should just return the card and try to see if we can find an NVIDIA card. The next day, me and D went to Micro Center a little bit before they opened and waited in line. There wasn't too many people there, maybe 10 or 15 people that were all trying to get the 3000 series cards. Since we wanted to get a graphics card, we had to wait in line with everyone else that was trying to get a 3000 series card. When it came up to us and we asked them if they had any NVIDIA cards left, they said that no, they were out of stock for everything, and the only thing that they had left was two 3090s. They had $1,500 one and a $2,200 one. And when we heard that, we were kind of disappointed, but at the same time, I kind of had the idea that maybe I should just buy a 3090, sell my 3080 to D, and then he could give his 3070 to Brian. Which sounds like a convoluted story, but in the moment it made a lot of sense to us. But we were worried about one thing, and that was that the week before, D had tried to get a 3080, and when he went to the register to purchase it, they had told him that he was not allowed to buy it. And when he asked why, they told him it was because he had bought in a 3070 in October, and that they were limiting the amount of graphics cards that could be sold to people. So I didn't think there would be much hope to me being able to buy the graphics card, but when we went to the register and checked out, they didn't really bother us too much about anything. And I asked, is it okay, since I had already bought in a 3070 just like D the same day as he did, and they said, yeah, that's fine, don't worry about it. So I guess it just depends on who's working there and what they have to say, or I guess how they're feeling that day, because my friend Santos has also tried to buy a 3070 from there for his brother, and they didn't let him buy it either because he had already purchased the 3070, and for them that day it didn't matter that it was a different year, and it was the same Micro Center that we had all gone to every single time. I understand why there's that limitation of only being able to buy one graphics card per person or whatever, but I feel like for the person that bought a 3070 or a 3060 because that was the only card that was available at the time, being denied the ability to upgrade to a 3080 or a 3090 isn't fair, but that's just my take on it. As far as the 3080 goes, that now belongs to D. I sold it to him for MSRP. The 3070 that I bought, I sold on eBay, and the 3090 I'm using right now as my personal graphics card. Alright guys, that's gonna be the end for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe.